welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with another scary story. Today I will be telling you guys the story I mentioned in my previous video. I am alone at home today, so hopefully I won't get scared and it won't affect the rest of my day. So you guys want to hear this story, please keep on watching. Okay, so this story is about one of my family members. I will not say the name of that family member, but basically when I went to Mexico, how I mentioned in my other video, I stayed with my grandparents, and one afternoon one of my aunts came to visit us. That aunt I had never seen before. It was a new aunt. I had never met her, so how I usually always greet my family members, I said hi, and then we all ate dinner, and then she left. So my crazy aunt, the one that is always telling us about like scary stories, that I also mentioned that she loved to tell us stories and stuff like that. Well, that aunt was like, hey, did your grandfather not tell you what happened? And I was like, what happened? What are you talking about? And then she was like, about your aunt that just left. And then I was like, no, what happened? And then she was like, I don't know if I should tell you guys. And then right when she said that, my grandfather was walking in. So my grandfather was like, what are you telling them? You need to stop scaring them. They're not gonna want to come back if you don't stop. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go now. So she left. So she kept me with that, like, mystery, what were you trying to tell me? Kind of like little bugging me that kept on bugging me the whole entire rest of the day. So I told my grandfather, tell me, please tell me. I promise I won't get scared. I promise it won't affect me. So by the time I convinced him to tell me, it was already around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So it was about to get dark. How I explained in the other story, my grandpa's house is like in the middle of trees in the back, and then it gets like super dark because there's a soccer field right in front of his house. So it's just complete darkness at night. There is a couple little houses near, but doesn't make a huge difference. So we were outside, and he started to tell me that this aunt got possessed. That she was possessed for a couple years after, before we saw her that day. He said it was a long time ago when she was still pretty young. And he said that she was possessed for a couple of years. Basically, she was really into religion, so she would always be at church, always praying to God, but for some reason that nobody knows what happened, she got possessed. So he said that one day back then when he was still young, the little village wasn't that populated, so where he was living, if it's already dark and it feels lonely at night, he says that at night it would get like super creepy because there wasn't much houses. So one day they woke up and they had to go visit her because of course everybody, all the family was trying to be united, trying to help out, trying to get her out of that. So that day they woke up pretty early. Nobody knew that they were gonna go visit her. They didn't have a phone. To get to where she lived, they had to cross a river and then cross a couple of little villages. They were gonna take their horses, so nobody knew. Nobody knew that they were gonna go. They told nobody. And they just took off that day. And when they got to where she was at, basically his brother told him, hey, this is super creepy. She already knew you were coming. Like, she already knew you were coming. She knew what you were wearing. She knew everything about you. Like, she just knew it. And nobody had told her. And the person that she was, like, the voice she was talking in wasn't her voice. It was a creepy voice. And she was saying you were on your way and that you did this, you did that, basically telling them everything that he had done. Like all the scary stuff that possessed people say when they're possessed. And yeah, so she knew everything about him. What was he wearing, what he was coming, who he was coming with, everything. And she was crazy. He said, my grandfather said that she had so much power and so much energy, nobody could control her. Nobody could keep her in the bed because they had her basically tied up in a bed. And people were just there and praying, trying to help her out. He said that when they got there, she was very evil. Like, she would say things to him that he had done, like his sins and all that stuff. He said it was one of the hardest situations he had ever been in because nobody, I mean, people talk about people being possessed, but nobody had ever seen it. He had never seen it. So being there was very eye-opening to him. He said that he appreciated God even more. But anyways, back to the story. So he went, he saw her, blah, blah, blah. She said all about all the stuff that she knew about him. She was crazy. The person that was talking was not her. She was very skinny, but she had all of this energy. So he said that they left, they came back home, and everybody, like the whole family got together and they spoke and they were like, hey, we need to take her somewhere. We need to take her to a priest, somebody that knows how to deal with these kind of stuff. So they did, and she was in Mexico City for a couple of months, and supposedly she got cured. So they took her back to the same place where she was living, where my grandpa had gone to go visit her. And her house was a small village, like my grandparents, where they had their house. And basically, my grandfather went to take care of her one night because she was getting better. She was finally getting back to her regular duties and stuff like that. But they still had to keep an eye on her because they told them that they had to keep an eye on her because she could fall back. Like, it could just, come back inside of her. So they had to pray and do all of religions type of stuff to keep her fine. So he said that one night, close to the afternoon, she was sleeping and like 5 people were taking care of her, and everybody was like praying, but since she fell asleep, everybody was kind of tired and was starting to fall asleep. They had their door open because in Mexico they tend to just keep the door open all the time. So they had the door open. My grandfather said that he was sitting close to where the door is at, but he said that across from the house where they were staying at, there was a party going on. So you could hear like the music, like the Mexican music, of course, is very loud. So the music was going on. And he said that when he turned around, this is like the creepiest thing ever. I'm scared now. Like, I don't even know. But, okay. When he turned around, oh my gosh, I'm like sweating. It's scary. I'm alone. Alright. So when he turned around and he looked at the door, he said he saw a man dancing. So this man was the evil. Okay, I'm not going to say the name, but the evil. the evil was trying to dance his way back into her. Oh my gosh, this is so creepy. But yeah, he was trying to dance his way into her again, and he said that he saw the man. Like, he saw the man, did not see the face, dressed in all black, very skinny, very tall. Yeah, so he said in that moment he was scared, like he did not know what to do. So in that instant he was like, hey guys, like, look. So in that moment everybody started praying. They started praying and praying and praying and praying, and he said that they didn't even realize it when the person was gone, like completely gone. And he said once again he had never experienced something so awful, that it kept him. He wasn't like a scary cat kind of person, but it did scare him. So yeah, so that's the story. It was very impacting to me, because it was like, hey, I just met a person that this actually happened to them. Like, when I was over there visiting my grandparents, like, it was scary. And then it was at night, so everything was just dark. And then take it back to the video where I was explaining, I could not sleep. I was up all night just looking at the window, and I could see the graveyard, and I just couldn't sleep. Like, that was one of the stories that really impacted me so much that I'm like, until this day it scares me to tell the story. It's very intense and it's unbelievable. Like, people think that it doesn't exist. I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but my grandfather has, and I pray to God that I never see something like that, because I don't know, I'm a big time scary cat that I don't know. So yeah, so that night I couldn't sleep. My grandma made me like 4 types of teas to try to relax my nerves, try to get some sleep, but I just couldn't. Like, I just felt like I would close my eyes and I was seeing all of that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be back next week for another video with another scary story, and I'll talk to you guys later.